of people who are in our green room right now and a bunch of people who are listening have already heard Paul Stanley's Soul Station. Some tracks are out, but the full album, Now and Then, is out today. And when I say full, I mean double album full. Holy cow, Paul. That is a massive, massive project that you've taken on. Two albums full of music and a bunch of originals as well that sit beautifully between Smokey and the Reverend Al Green and so on. What specifically, when you were working on these songs, these covers, what specifically came up in your mind about growing up in Queens and listening to those songs and hearing those songs?
Well, music for me has always been really pivotal. It's always changed me and opened up my eyes to what the world was, and the world always turned out to be bigger than I thought. Hearing Smokey and the Miracles, the first time I think I was walking down the street towards Casino Boulevard, which was not far from my house, and I had my little transistor radio. For those of you who don't know what that is, it looks like a smartphone. But I'm listening to music, and Smokey comes on, and it was just so interesting because it felt so real. It wasn't perfect, and that's part of what I loved about it, was that it had passion in place of perfection, and Smokey's voice was always he was masculine without needing to flex his muscles. It wasn't about testosterone. Sometimes masculinity with some of these singers was about vulnerability. So I just really took to it. I was lucky enough. I saw Otis Redding live when I was in my teens. I saw Solomon Burke. So some people are surprised at the connection I have to this music, but for me, it's one of the cornerstones of what I do.
You have two Smokey songs, like classic Smokey songs, Ooh Baby Baby, and Tracks of My Tears.
Yeah.
Incredible. Now you're kind of known for your high voice. You know, you're a tenor, but you do falsetto. And how difficult was that when especially when you put yourself next to the original? How was it a nervous thing for you to cover these songs? I mean, the album feels like a labor of love, but was there any like, wow, man, I'm covering, this is a major piece of history that I'm doing right here. I got to do it justice.
Well, I think that obviously um, I wasn't going to. I didn't want to walk in the shadows of these great singers, and I didn't want to try to fill their shoes. But I didn't want to. I did want to walk next to them, and I really believe that if you understand the intent of a song, and if you understand what's behind it, and you're a singer, you should be able to put the song across. So, although for some people they're surprised to hear me sing like this, I'm not, because I understand you've never been in my house. I sing these songs and always have. So it wasn't a surprise to me. But I will say, it was about 5 years ago. I just found myself thinking, all these great songs have been relegated to being samples in rap tunes. Okay, that's fine. But we deserve and we need to hear this music because it really is timeless. It sounds as great today as it sounded when it was originally recorded. And I think we kicked it up a bit. We have just stellar musicians, and there's such joy in what we're doing. We love being together. Everybody in the band, the variety of ethnicities and nationalities and backgrounds. It's weird. We all came together, and it just feels like family. And I think that comes across in the videos, in the album, and it comes across when you see us live.
That's for sure. And I know that we have some people in the green room who have been to some of those Soul Station shows that happened a couple of years back. I know, as you said, the project has been around for a while. When did you actually decide to start to record them, decide to actually do a soul album? Did it start with you loving the songs that we've been talking about, or did it start with you writing these originals in the spirit of those days?
It really began with us doing live shows. I think in Japan, for example, we did 12 shows in 6 days. So, we've been having a ball, and it's just reached a point, unlike some bands that get together in the studio and then want to go out and play live. We are and were a live band, and it made total sense. It seemed crazy not to go into the studio and put this down on tape, on vinyl, or whatever the medium of the moment might be. So um, a lot of the songs that were recorded for the album were part of the makeup of our set. I just found myself thinking, I want Soul Station not to live solely in the past. I want us to bridge the gap to the present. The music is timeless, and if the music is good, it should stand up today. So I just decided to write a song, and I wrote one song. And after I did the horns and the strings and we recorded it, it was like, wow, this is pretty seamless. And I thought, I'll write another one. I did that, and the same thing happened. So after five of them, I just said, that's enough. I want the roots of the band to be uh, most prominent, and then to show how this music works its way into the present. And really, according to, I'd say, everybody who hears the album, it's hard to tell what's what or which is which.
Well, I think it's a testament to the new songs that you have written, that it flows so beautifully, and it all fits. It's all of a piece. And I'm serious. Kudos to you. As a guy who grew up on Philly soul myself, living in Philadelphia, no, the songs, many of them that you covered. Oh my God! The style, the Delphonics.
Oh,
You covered the freaking Delphonics, dude. I love
well,
it.
we do Blue Magic when we do Blue Magic when we're live. We do Sideshow. There's so much great music, and by God, it should be out there and being heard. So yeah, on the album we got Delphonics doing "La La Means I Love You." Um, there's just so much great music that came out of Motown and Philly and Memphis Stax and early Atlantic. So if somebody's got to lead the charge, okay, I'll do it.
One more question, and then we're going to jump to our green room. Some great questions standing by. Did you, as you say, these songs need to be heard in other than samples? So, did you feel that as part of the mission to do this record, that it's your responsibility now, it's your job to turn another generation onto these songs? Did you feel that as part of your responsibility with this record?
I hoped to do that. The whole band really, it's our crusade. Everybody in the band has played with everybody as diverse as Whitney Houston to Frank Sinatra, to Buddy Rich to the Temptations. And everybody in the band sees it as our mission to bring this music to the forefront again, but also to do it with reverence and to do it with a pride in doing it the right way. It doesn't mean paint by numbers. It doesn't mean to copy every note, but it means to capture the passion, which I said before, and joy of it. So yeah, we feel like this is our calling.
It's a great record and a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
And I you must be gratified that so many Kiss fans have tuned into this album. I mean, many of them are in our green room right now. Let me bring up the first person who's got a question for you. Bradley Way, step up, my friend. Say hello to Paul Stanley. We're glad to have you with us. Here comes Bradley.
Oh, Bradley.
Moments away. Hello,
Here,
Bradley.
here I am. Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
We hear you. We don't see you. If you want, we could see you if you decide.
There
But
we
if not,
go.
There you
there's
go.
Bradley.
Sorry about that technology problem there. But thank you very much for letting me join. Paul, I have been a fan since 1975. This is a dream come true to actually get to talk to you.
Thank you.
My question for you is, I've known you in KISS all these years, and I love you as a front man. My question is, what's the greatest challenge you have faced as you've moved from this hard rock world into this soul world? What's been the challenge?
It's a good question. I think it's a more challenge for the people listening. Um, I also did Phantom of the Opera. All these things are very, very much a natural step for me. Some people feel that they have to drive in one lane, stay in your lane. I don't do that. I've always considered myself to be not a rock singer, but a singer who sings rock, which means that I want the freedom to do other things. It's not like being involved in vanity projects. They're all passion projects for me. They're all things that I think need to get explored, because every time I do something new, I learn something about myself. So the challenge for me was just to continue the way I live my life. The challenge for some other people is to kind of put aside either some preconceived ideas, or quite honestly, some people want me to stay in one lane, and I just don't want to do it. It's no different to me than somebody who says, oh, I don't like that kind of music. I only like this music. Well, that's kind of like eating one kind of food. If you eat one kind of food, you're going to be malnourished. And I think that taking the opportunity to expose yourself to a lot of different kinds of music will bring you a whole lot of joy. For me, there's always been two kinds of music, and that's good and bad. And you can find a lot of it in every category. So for me, this was effortless. It was just, gee, this is the next step for me. And I never quite honestly know what the next step is, but I'm always open to it. And a great question. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Bradley. Really appreciate you joining us today. I'm looking in the chat. It's great to see people's comments as you're speaking, Paul. Neil Guido says, I pre-ordered the purple vinyl and black
Woo-hoo!
vinyl and CD. Wow.
Well,
He is all over it. I want to bring on Doyle Rausch. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Doyle. Welcome to the show. We've got a question standing by here for Paul, I imagine. There's Doyle.
Yeah,
Go
thanks
ahead.
everyone.
Hey, Doyle.
Paul, really love what we've heard so far from Soul Station. Looking forward to the vinyl. And my question for you today is, can you tell me whether the songwriting and musical composition process is appreciably different for soul music versus rock and roll?
What a great question. Well, I think that music in particular was piano based. It was written a lot on piano. So when I was writing the songs, I had to think piano. I had to think more of piano voicings and how these chords would transfer to being played on keyboards. That was really the main challenge. But the interesting thing about writing those songs, those 5 songs, was that it wasn't like, gee, let me write songs in the style of, really what it was a continuation of what I was doing and what I am doing. Um, Being immersed in Soul Station means we hang out together. We're in touch with each other every day. We were in the studio recording. We were doing shows live. So when it came to the idea of writing songs, it really wasn't, let me try to write these kind of songs. It was like, let me write some of these songs. So it was actually it was surprisingly, I don't want to say easy, but it was certainly natural.
Great, thank you.
Paul, I know
Thank
that
you.
you've said that there are KISS songs that have been inspired by some of this soul music.
Totally. I think music, when you write songs or perform songs, songs are like a mixture of ingredients, like in a recipe. Some are much more obvious than others, but they're all essential to it. So I remember when we wrote Shout It Out Loud.
Mhm.
You've got, well, the night's begun and you want some fun. Do you think you're gonna find it? Think you're gonna find it? That's the Four Tops. That's Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. That's it's a lot of it's the answer, it's the lead voice and the answering. So we knew it when we were doing it. It was like, oh, Four Tops. Um, there's a song on the album Unmasked, a song called What Makes the World Go Round. If we had arranged it any differently, it was a Spinners song. Um, I knew it. I knew, but it wasn't appropriate. But those are roots, that's in what we do. Um, I was made for loving you, baby, standing in the shadows of love.
For sure.
You know,
that
so
that one put me. You wore it on your sleeve with that one.
yeah, so um, that's the beauty of music is that whatever you wind up doing can be that much more complex or have depth to it based upon listening to stuff that isn't just like what you're doing. I loved going to concerts when I was a kid because it was like a meal. You got a appetizer, you got a main course and a dessert, and they were all different. When you go to a concert and you see three of the same band, by God, I want to hang myself. It's the diversity that used to make it so great. And I still see things that way. I think that there's so much great music around, and to limit yourself, if you go into tasting a food saying I'm not going to like it, guess what? You're probably not going to like it. But guess who's I guess less for it? It's you.
Right. We got another question. Up next is True Pray.
Hmm.
True Pray with the next question. Welcome to the town hall, True.
Hi, Paul. My name is True Prey, and I live in Monrovia, California. My fiance and I attended the first Soul Station show at Roxy a few years ago and loved it.
Thank you.
A lot of the Motown R&B songs have to do with either struggles or relationships. In such dark times that we currently live in, is there a song on the album that you would define as an uplifting anthem?
Sure. I think one of the beautiful things about this music in general is that it tends to be poignant in it sings about relationships, it sings about optimism. And by the way, the show you saw at the Roxy, which was pretty damn good, we'd been together 2 weeks. So it kind of tells you the magic of people and the chemistry when you're get the right people together. As far as a song, I think the one that really sums everything up, and when I first heard it, was a group from Chicago, was the Five Stair Steps, and they did a song called "Ooh Child." And "Ooh Child" is I just found it so engaging that this voice that really sounded untrained, but so heartfelt is singing to somebody else. Things are going to get easier. Things are going to get brighter. One of these days, we're going to walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. That I mean, that rang so true, and it still does. It's one of those songs that you hear now, and I think it resonates that much more because um, you have nothing if you don't have hope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great question, True. Thank you very much for joining us today. Who do we have up next? Demo. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce your last name, Demo.
It's a life. I'm used to that. Hi, Paul. My name
Hey.
is Dimo Kutsojanopoulos.
Thanks,
My
Doc.
question is, I'm actually from Brooklyn, New York. So my question is, what drew you to the music style of Motown, and how did it influence your upbringing while growing up in New York City?
I was blessed because I was exposed to so much music and so much art in my house because my parents, my mom was born in Germany, and my dad was first generation here from Europe. And in Europe, music and art is like food. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. So I grew up in a household where I heard Beethoven, I heard Mozart, Mahler, I heard opera, I heard Puccini, I heard Verdi, and music just kept getting added to it. Um, I was really taken with a lot of I was taking Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson. My eyes were always open to the the fact that greatness has no color, greatness has no shape, and greatness has no sound. You know greatness when you witness it, and whether it's a painting or a performer. And I guess for me, because of the diversity of what I grew up around, I was open to it all. And again, whether it was Levi Stubbs or Pavarotti,
Hmm.
greatness is greatness. And seeing Otis Redding was eye opening for me because it was undeniable. He was a giant, but his real strength was in who he was. He was undeniably a great. He was iconic, and you miss out on so much if you limit your exposure to different kinds of music. I certainly didn't. So Motown, Philly soul, soul music before that, old early blues. Um, whether Robert Johnson or Blind Lemon Jefferson, right up to you know um, John Lee Hooker and on from there. It's all it's all in there, and I'd like to think that it comes out in little bits and pieces.
Hmm. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Funny you say that. I'm actually on Casino Boulevard right now working. So
Wow, where
I was
casino?
going to ask you, Demo, where are you going?
um,
Where
I
where
work
on
for the city of New York.
where on
I'm
casino?
off I'm on Casino Street right now.
Well, I knew it well. I knew it well.
So that's
This
awesome.
this guy really wanted to be here, Paul. He's in his car working and yet made time to be here for this town hall.
And he's in the
I
stomping
s-
ground. That's great.
He's in the
Yeah.
hood. Demo, thank you. Great
Thank you, Demo.
question.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank
Let's take one more here before we take a break. Cameron Duty.
Hi.
Hey there.
Good. So good to meet you. I always wanted to just say thank you for the music that's been a part of my life. Really quick, let me just say that my mom, she brought me up on Spinners and Temptations.
Mm,
Dad brought me up on Kiss. So best of both worlds with this project.
amen. Amen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My question, it's such a labor of love for you, obviously, for this Soul Station project. Can we see this project kind of evolve in the way that Rod Stewart's classics may have evolved? You know how he did a series of albums. I'm already looking down the road. I can think of so many songs you could do so well.
I wouldn't rule it out. You know, I don't believe in bucket lists. Bucket lists make no sense to me because when you chalk everything off your bucket list, what are you going to do? Die? So I think that there's always something new to add to it. Interestingly, with Rod Stewart loves this album, which is a great thing for me because he's one of the great song stylists, and Paul Rogers loves the album, another great singer. Otis Williams from the Temptations, I was talking to
Oof.
last week, and he said, last night I was listening to your version of Just My Imagination, and I'm telling you, it's as good as ours. And I was like, whoa, you know, first of all, there would be no Soul Station version without the Temps version. So put that into perspective. But did he make my day? No. Did he make my week? Probably longer than that. But, you know, I'm thrilled with the response, and there's really no need to stop doing what I'm doing. I have a lot of fun, and I'm so blessed to be surrounded by, at full charge. We have 17 people. in Soul Station, and it's not my backup band. I would never think of it like that. I'd be out of my mind. There's so much talent in the band. Um, I remember seeing Sly and the Family Stone opening for Jimi Hendrix, and I loved the fact that was Sly the leader? Yeah, he was the leader, but everybody in the band was so important that it was the chemistry in the band that made the band what it was. I like to think of Soul Station much more like that.
Okay, thank you so much. Good to speak with you. My wife says hi, by the way. She loves you.
Well, I love her back.
Thank you, Cameron.
Take care. Thank you.
SiriusXM Volume presents a virtual town hall with Paul Stanley, and this town hall on the occasion of the release today of Paul Stanley's Soul Station, the album Now and Then. It is out. If you pre-ordered, start checking your mail. It's on the way. Aha. Let's see. Who is up next? We've got... Is it Rich? No, it is. It's Rich Vandermeer. Rich, if you are ready, sign on, open up the camera, open up your mic, and what's your question for Paul Stanley?
All righty.
Hey,
Okay.
Rich.
How you guys doing? Paul, Mark, there is so much about this that kicks ass. Paul, my wife and I had the opportunity to see Soul Station in Orange County at the Coach House back in 2016.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, your voice, the band was so tight. Is there a possibility? I know you're going to have the final tour going on, but when things are appropriate, are we going to be able to see you guys play live again? Because as awesome as the album is, I got to tell you, for those who haven't seen you guys live, you will be completely blown away of how good this actually is.
Wow, that's obviously that's the reaction that I hope for, but to hear it heartfelt, God bless you. It makes me feel great. Look, for the next foreseeable future, I was going to say for the next year, I think the idea of live concerts on a big scale, like arenas or stadiums, are pretty much a non-starter. And so Kiss and bands of that level and stature, I think, are going to be staying home. I do believe that there's much more of a chance of smaller venues and smaller crowds finding a way to meet health guidelines and protocols so that there can be live music. And if that's the case, then damn well you're going to see Soul Station, because between now and the time that Kiss goes out, certainly I want the band to be out there, and we're just dying to go out and play.
I tell you, once people will see it, I mean, we almost left with tears in our eyes. It was really that good. And I've seen Kiss a gazillion times, but to see one of my favorite singers singing these songs and doing the songs such justice will blow people away. Thank you so much for shining a light on a kind of a shitty time right now, but you're crushing it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice one, Richard. Thanks for that question. So what you, in your answer, it seems like because smaller venues will open up before the major venues, where the reunion tour or the farewell tour might start, there's a pretty good chance that Soul Station will do some dates as they become safe.
Yes. Maybe that's part of the saving grace of a horrible time. This pandemic has just laid waste, particularly to this country, unfortunately. Others have done much better. And because of that, the idea of being able to get out there and play. Look, I've been inconvenienced by the pandemic. Other people have been devastated and lost loved ones and are still suffering the effects. So to be able to see some light at the end of the tunnel and make some music, it would be beautiful.
Indeed. Oftentimes, when somebody in your position covers these songs and has this incredible emotional connection to these great songs from your past, there's stories attached. Which one of these songs is about which old girlfriend?
Oh my gosh. Well, right now she probably is old. And I have many old girlfriends. Um, I didn't write any of the songs about anyone in particular. They were more about situations probably that we've all gone through. And that's probably what makes um, Philly soul, Motown, and all these genres, subgenres, if you will, so relatable, is that they're about situations that we've probably all gone through. Having a relationship that you take for granted and losing it, and then realizing how much it means to you, and saying, "Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this." So that was more. It was more universal kind of um, uh, situations that everybody seems to go through. So it was that as as uh, more that certainly than the idea of old girlfriends. And as I said before, most of my girlfriends from that time are old.
Well, how did that happen? Because neither of us are old, so
That's
it's
right.
weird.
We're just
So weird.
distinguished.
Let's bring in Josiah. Josiah Horn is next with a question for Paul Stanley. This is the virtual town hall with Paul on the occasion of this brand new record, Now and Then, out today. Hey, Josiah, welcome.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Paul. First, I wanted to say real quick, I've got your book Backstage Pass sitting right in front of me, and I wanted to say that book really changed my life, and it was such a good book for me.
Thank you.
So thank you. My question is that I was hoping that you could tell us how Eric Singer got involved with this project, because this does seem to be just as much out of his comfort zone as it does for you.
Well, good question. I think comfort zones have more to do with perception by outsiders, because what you believe somebody is, or who you believe they are, what their limitations are, usually are based upon what you've seen. I know Eric to be a consummate drummer, somebody who can play anything. He grew up playing big bands with his dad. And honestly, if you put a hard rock drummer in that narrow terminology, if you put somebody like that into this band, it would have been a disaster. To hold down the fort and play these songs with the accuracy and feel is not easy. But I knew from the start, when I first started putting Soul Station together, the first person I thought, well, I sure hope Eric will do it.
You played with Eric before. I mean, before Kiss, even.
Yes. Eric came in by way of playing with me in a solo band I had in '88 that I took out on tour, just to, let off some steam at the end of a tour. And so he's been around. He's actually been in Kiss, I think, about 25 years, with a few breaks. So he's a consummate drummer, and he's a great vocalist. The guy can sing his butt off.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love his work on the album, and I'm glad that he's on it. It's good to hear you say that about him. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Nice t-shirt, Josiah.
Thank you. An internet friend made it for me.
I love the t-shirt, and I love your background.
Thank you. And love you too.
Well, thanks so much, Josiah. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. Paul, you in addition to writing the new songs on there and covering these classics, you arranged the entire album as well. And what was that like? I mean, you in terms of the classics, the soul classics, the arrangements, in most cases, I'm thinking back on it, feel pretty close to the original. But what did it mean for you to get into that?
Let me say that as far as the classic tunes, there are some great people in the band. John Pappenbrook, who's our lead trumpet player, played with Sinatra, and he played with Buddy Rich, and on from there with all the R&B greats. And Alex Alessandroni, who's our musical director, who's really the central director for the band. He was musical director for Whitney Houston and Natalie Cole and Pink and Christina Aguilera, and the list goes on and on. So in terms of the classics, those arrangements were pretty much on their shoulders. But I have to say, I would listen and go, no, 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 no. There's something missing right there, or there's a swell over here, or you're missing this. So it's really a matter of nuance. I think that makes this music what it is. As far as the new tunes, I did all the arrangements of the strings and the horns and the band. And again, Alex has been terrific because I've done this before. Really, what I do is I'll sing. Okay, here's what the horns play, and here's what the strings are going to play against that as a counter melody. So I'll sing all the parts and he'll chart them because I can't write music. I can't read music either, but I can sing music. So that's what I would do is all of it was worked out in my head. And look, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. If you're listening to Tom Bell, or you're listening to Gamble and Huff, or you're listening to Norman Whitfield, or Paul Reiser, all these guys, man, I mean, that's some, as we say, that's some deep shit.
Indeed. We've got questions standing by here from Mark. Mark, you're up next. Is Mark Widener? Welcome, Mark.
Hi, Paul. First,
Hey.
Hey, how are you doing? Mark from Staten Island.
Don't take your eyes off the road.
I'm
Pull
parked.
over, Mark.
It's a lunch break.
Okay.
So first, I just want to say thank you for being part of the soundtrack of pretty much my entire life. Lifelong fan. But what I
It
wanted
works
to ask,
both ways. You know that? It works both
thank you.
ways.
Thank you. But what I wanted to ask was it hard to write the original material for Soul Station, knowing that it was going to sit alongside those, heavily known classics?
It's a great question. Once I wrote Save Me, which was the first song I wrote, and I saw that it sat really well with them. I knew that I knew how to deliver these songs. So if for any reason they hadn't matched up or been quality that kept it a cohesive project, I would have just skipped it. People talk about, oh, is this a vanity project? I've seen people do vanity projects and I go, no, this is a passion project. This isn't about my vanity. This is about something that I deeply love and would love to see thrive. So in terms of writing the new songs, that music is so much embedded in me that to have those kind of roots, if you water them and if you give them the nourishment that they need, maybe they can bear some really, really cool fruit.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you. Staten Island, great
Yes.
pizza.
In the house.
Oh yeah, the best.
Great pizza. But you'd have to argue with everybody in Connecticut who'll tell you theirs is the best pizza. And then you have to Chicago, but
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn.
they argue.
Yeah. But East Coast is pizza.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Thanks so much,
Mark,
Paul.
thank you very
Thank you.
much. Get back on the road and get back to work.
Yeah.
I'm checking in the chat, and there are a number of questions from people about the band. The people would like to hear a bit more about the band, and I'd love for you to shout out some of those band members who you said have worked with some of these incredible people.
Oh yeah, it's my joy, and it's funny because when we're on stage, I think that a lot of the band is used to kind of being in the background, and for me, it's like, you kick ass, go out front and show everybody what you can do. You know, my job's secure, so I want to make sure that everybody else gets the spotlight. Crystal Starr, who's does a duet with me on the album. Um, she was in that show Motown on Broadway.
Yeah.
And her dad sang backup for Jackie Wilson. So that's good enough right there. And she's just a killer. She's beautiful and just a great soul. Loren
It's a
Beato.
full-on Marvin and Tammy situation there, that
Yeah.
duet. That
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah, you know, I love those Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Kim Weston songs.
Kim Weston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like, "Look, we need a duet." So Crystal was perfect, and Loren Beato is a great singer. Again, roots going back to singing with everybody. Gavin Roan, who shares some of the lead on "Ooh Child" and the end of "Could It Be I'm Falling in Love." Gavin's, you know, done loads of session work, and when he's free, he's been the current lead singer for Gap Band, and he's just
Oh,
he's terrific. I mean, the guy can sing the phone book. For those of you who know what a phone book is, um, Rafael Morera, our guitar player, was on that show, Rockstar, Rockstar in Excess,
right.
and he's just a consummate guitar player, and played with me in the Live to Win band when I went out doing that. Sean Hurley, our bass player, toured with John Mayer, and he's a great session player and just somebody who worships James Jamerson, and Duck Dunn, all the greats. Um, Alex Alessandroni, who I mentioned before, is a musical director, and I already sang his praises. I don't want to sing them too much because he won't get a big head. He's a great guy, but he's worked with everybody. Eli Rise, our second keyboard player, actually had a hit last year, I think, with a Justin Bieber song. So he's a terrific guy, and
I'd like to point out what a great memory Paul Stanley has. He's got like 97 people in his band.
well, guess
There he's
what?
got- boom,
They'll be-
boom, boom.
Yeah, they'll be very pissed off if I leave somebody out. Ray Islas, our percussionist, was touring just before the pandemic with the band Chicago, and he's also the go-to percussionist. So, and then we're augmented by two other horn players, and the string players are fantastic. Natalie Leggert and now I'm going to forget names and they'll kill me, but our string players are LA Philharmonic, Hollywood Bowl Orchestra. It's all top shelf. And the cool thing is everybody is just, we want to go play. We just want to go out there and do this. So that's the joy and the passion again that this is all rooted in. And I think that it's undeniable in the music and the performances and the videos. You have a bunch of people that are just crazy about each other and crazy about the music we're making.
Is there, and now you mentioned actually Vanity Project. I think Vanity Projects usually wind up being awful because they are that, vanity projects. This is a labor of love, and but you doing this, what is your plan for this album? When you release singles, are you going to R&B radio stations? We've got a couple here at Sirius XM that you should be getting some play on. What is your idea?
And I
Or is
say
it
to that,
strictly, I'm
Mark,
going to tour? Yes,
Mark, I say to that, you're damn right you should be playing it. How do you like that? Yeah, I mean, I listen to Soul Town all the time, and although I certainly champion the musical catalog that's played, a little flexibility wouldn't hurt, because this isn't sacrilege. This is awesome, well done music that can help everybody. I mean, honestly, if Soul Station does well, um, the Temptations do well, the Four Tops do well. It's just another way to showcase that music. So, I would like to think that um, there are no color lines or style lines or anything drawn in the sand. Kick the sand away. Let's get rid of the lines.
But are you going to make an effort to do that? Are you going to promote this record to those kinds of radio stations, or are you just going to kind of hope that things will build once you can get out there and start to play some clubs?
Yes.
All righty then. Thank you.
Yes, and good night. y- all of the above. I think that when you get the background of what this is all about and you realize how deep the commitment and the passion is and the history, this isn't, hey, let's make a country album. You won't be hearing that from me. But this music is, pardon the pun, this music's in my soul. This is music that I grew up on. This is music that means everything to me. Um, so the fact that I've spent my career, for the most part, doing something else doesn't mean that it wasn't always present. And there are only so many hours in the day. So you obviously use the time in the most advantageous way. And that said, I'm certainly at a point in my life now where I have a lot more freedom and time to do really other things that in the past I might not have been able to. So um, yeah, I will go to any radio station and I will do anything necessary to um, kick down any barriers because Motown, let's be clear, Motown and Philly International kicked down barriers because that music was listened to by everybody. And I'm a big believer in that music elicits emotional um, responses, and it has nothing to do with color. It has to do with the depth of the music or how it hits you emotionally. Look, when I was growing up, first time I heard, not even the first time, the first 20 times I heard Nessun Dorma from Turandot,
Oh man.
the opera. I had no idea what the lyrics meant, but I got goosebumps and teary-eyed because that's the power of music. Um, and I think that all this great music crosses all boundaries. And I'd like to apply that to this. There's no reason why somebody wouldn't play this or wouldn't like it because it's heartfelt and genuine.
I'm seeing some people in chat. Joseph Santani is saying nobody leads a rock and roll church service like Paul Stanley. Shannon Aldridge has commented that he can't wait to see this live. There is someone else in chat, I can't find him right now, who suggested, I'm not sure how you're going to be about this idea, who suggested that Soul Station opened for Kiss.
Mm.
Hmm.
Very interesting. It would be impossible just to
Yeah.
to be able to do it.
I think it was sort of an LOL kind of question.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, LOL back at you.
Paul Stanley, the new album out today. The
Woo!
band is Soul Station Now and Then. And if we are to believe what Paul has said during the course of this town hall, perhaps Volume 1. We shall see. Paul Stanley, thank you so much for taking the time and doing this with us. We really appreciate it. It's been great.
It's always great. Thank you for having me.
welcome everyone to a very special event.